Excuse me, I'm on duty. Yes, the vampire hunter. As far as I know, he just showed up recently here in Bruma. Not only that, but he already found a vampire among us. Apparently, Braden Lyrian was one of those vile creatures, and Raynor slew him. Kinda strange, though. I never figured Braden to be a vampire. He seemed to be such a likable fellow. Leave me alone! You're going to have to leave. This is a crime scene, and no one other than ourselves or Reynold Drayless will be allowed access. The culprit in this crime has already been dealt with. It's just a matter of wrapping up the details. I'd tell you more, but frankly, I don't know who you are, so I'm not sure that I can trust you with that sort of information. This better be good. And every little bit helps. I suppose there's no harm in telling you what happened. Word is bound to get around Bruma anyway. Turns out that Braden Lyrian is a vampire. Or was. If it wasn't for Reynold Drayless, we may have never uncovered the truth. Let me explain. In the last week or so, we found 2 bodies stashed in shallow graves outside the city walls. The bodies had puncture wounds on their necks. The bodies were those of some beggars who used to wander the streets looking for handouts. The vampire probably thought no one would miss them. Luckily for us, Raynor arrived in town. He said he was a vampire hunter, so we asked for his help. He tracked the vampire to this house. When he entered the place around noon, Braden was sleeping. He was able to slay him at that point. Luckily, Braden's wife wasn't home. Poor thing. She didn't even know her husband was infected. We did a follow-up investigation, and it's true that no one recollects seeing Braden out in the daylight. He's only been spotted at night. I'm afraid there's not much more to tell you. So you can see we really don't need any help. But thanks for the offer. As far as I know, he was a good man. I never saw this coming. But vampires are masters of deception, so I guess it makes sense. I'm impressed. It only took him a day to track the vampire down. I guess that's why he does it for a living. Feel free to question anyone in town. They shouldn't give you too much trouble.
I can't believe this is happening. Please, please, I need your help. My husband was no vampire. It's ridiculous. No one will listen to me. Forgive me. I loved my husband dearly, and to lose him this way makes no sense. Anything you can do to help would be wonderful. This is all happening so fast. I came home only just a few hours ago. I found the door open, and my Braden dead. Standing over him was a Dunmer. I screamed and ran out into the street. Some city watch were nearby and heard me, I suppose, as they arrived quickly. I heard the Dunmer identify himself as Reynold Drayless. He said he was a vampire hunter and that Braden was his mark. The guards seemed to know about Reynold, and after a search of the house, the body of some beggar was found stashed in our basement. The guards sent for Carius, who is an investigator for crimes here in Bruma. In minutes, Reynold convinced Carius that Braden was a vampire. Well, of course it does. It was obviously planted here. Why would he stash a body in his own house? That's ridiculous. And another thing, the guards are making a big deal out of no one seeing Braden out in the daylight. Well, of course that's the case. He works at night and has to sleep during the day. Why does that make him a vampire? It's all that Reynold character. I don't trust him. The thing that bothers me the most is that I swear I've seen him before. Of course, he says he's never been here. There isn't much more to say. Please, help me clear my husband's name. I have no idea where he'd be. Just find him and make him tell you the truth. I swear he's a liar. I know I sound desperate, but I know I'm right.
So, any new revelations in your, investigation? I'm sure Erlene is very upset. She'll be safe, though. Raynal has confirmed with us that she isn't infected. Her accusations that Raynal is lying is not surprising. At this point, she's so upset that she'll say anything to deny what really happened. I suppose if I found out a loved one was something as horrid as a vampire, I'd find any excuse not to believe it either. I'll warn you about one thing. I understand you wanting to help Erline by checking up on Raynal. We have it on good authority from officials in a neighboring city that Raynal is what he says he is, so I'm not sure what you're trying to prove. I'm only allowing you to do this investigation, and I use that term very loosely, because Erline is so distraught. Keep up the, good work, I suppose.
Excuse me. Sorry, I have a lot of work to do.
Do you have any more questions? I'm afraid I know little more. I know I sound desperate.
I am honored to speak to the hero of the Battle of Bruma. What can I do for you? I overheard a guard mention the Countess is looking... Bye.
I'm honored to speak to the champ. You too.
Evening. What can I do for you today? I know I may be out of line by saying this, but I think the city guards may be wrong. It's hard to imagine Braden was a vampire. I could have sworn I saw him outside in the daylight before. Unless he just got that disease very recently, I'd say they were mistaken. When I heard Raynil killed him, I didn't know what to think. But after your visit here, I'm beginning to wonder. I usually don't give out that kind of information, especially to people I don't know. Go ahead. See, was that hard? Raynil's staying in the last room down the hall upstairs. Here's the key. I always liked Braden and Arlene. They were a nice couple. I hope you get to the bottom of this, because I don't believe he was a vampire either. Salute. Welcome. Please say your piece. What can I do for you today? Galaborn? That's odd that you should mention that name. Raynal told me that he was the last vampire he hunted. Yeah, that's right. Somewhere in Skingrad, I believe. He said he tracked Gelborn down and killed him. That's apparently why the guards trust him so readily. They had gotten word from Skingrad's City Watch about Raynil and his so-called accomplishment. And nothing else I can tell you about him. Just look for me if you need anything else.
You're a fit one. Been running a lot?
Hello.
So, how'd you know about that? Too many people don't know how to keep quiet about official matters. Very well. The Skingrad City Watch informed us that Galaborn was killed by Raynil not too long ago. Galaborn was a vampire as well, obviously. What do you mean you disagree? That's a bold statement. What proof do you have that Gellerborn was not a vampire? I don't know what to say. It all makes perfect sense now. Why else would Raynor have removed this journal from the crime scene in Skingrad? I heard no mention of a key either. It must have been removed by Raynor from Braden's body before we arrived. To think that 2 innocent men were killed, and that I'm responsible for one of their deaths, I'm speechless. I will rouse the guard and begin a search for him in the city. Meet me at Olav's Tap and Tack in 1 hour.
Hello.
What's your story? Anything else?
Good
Just
evening.
look for me if you need...
Just before I arrived here, I received a report from one of our scouts watching the roads. Raynor was spotted heading west out of Bruma. The scout tried to follow, but lost him in the mountains. The only cave to the west that comes close to the one described in Gellerborn's journal is Boreal Stone Cave. That must be where he's headed. You must get there before he acquires whatever artifact is being kept there and makes his escape. I'm keeping the city guard in Bruma, as Raynor doesn't know we're after him. If he sees a guard, he may panic and run. You're my only hope at the moment. Please, you have my authorization to do everything you can to bring him to justice. If he won't surrender, I think you know what to do. Hurry. I fear you have a day at the most to stop him. Please hurry. Raynor may make a break for the...
Congratulations. I had a feeling you would catch on sooner or later. Leaving that journal behind was a stupid mistake on my part. I saw you enter Olav's Tap and Tack before I could get there, and I knew that I had to sneak out of Bruma somehow. It was only a matter of time before you or Carius figured it out. No matter. After I've killed you, I won't need my vampire hunter ruse any longer. Certainly not. I'm surprised Carius didn't send the entire city watch up here. But then I would have seen that coming, I suppose. I expected to lay low here for a while and then be on my way. So again, I underestimated you. This leaves me with little choice. Either I fight you now and have a chance at freedom, or I surrender and rot in a city dungeon. I prefer the chance for freedom. Yes, I suppose it is. Well then, we've talked enough. Only one of us will walk out of here alive this day. Good luck.
What news do you bring? Yes, I remember Braden mentioning that name once. He was part of the Brotherhood he had created with Raynor. I knew I recognized Raynor. I think when I first met Brayden many years ago, he introduced me to him. They were part of some sort of brotherhood. They would roam Cyrodiil in search of legendary treasures and the like. The only reason he stopped doing that is because we got married and he wanted to settle down. I'm afraid thanks to Raynil, that time is lost. Long ago, I made a promise to Brayden. I promised to never reveal to anyone what I'm about to reveal to you now. However, because you've avenged his unjust death, I feel that Brayden would understand why I'm breaking that pact. Brayden told me about this amulet when they first brought it home from whatever distant land it came from. He never really trusted anyone else in the group, and before he secured the treasure in that cave, he had a special enchantment placed upon it. The magic masks the true identity of the item. All it takes is a simple command word, and the amulet would be restored to its true state. No, he always feared this day would come. He left me knowledge of that word in the event that he died, and I came into possession of the keys. If the other members of Brayden's group were still alive, and I on my deathbed, only then would I pass the knowledge on to them. If you'd give me that amulet, I would like to show you what you've recovered. Thank you. I will now speak the word Brotherhood. Here is the amulet back. It's as beautiful as it was the day I remember seeing it long ago. I want you to keep it, as I have no use for this anymore. I'm certain that's what I want, and I'm certain that's what Brayden would want. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope that the amulet helps keep you safe on whatever roads you may travel. I'm glad he's dead. I know that's a horrible thing to say, but I think you understand. Justice has been done. Yes? Justice has been done.